This is Andy Purewal for Boxing Social in association with Betfred, and I'm delighted to be joined by Darren Barker over Zoom. Darren, first and foremost, how you been keeping?
Very well, thanks, mate. Um, yeah, excited for Saturday, but generally, life's all right. I had my fourth kid about 4 weeks ago. No more. That is it. Tying a knot in it now. But yeah, good, good. I'm very well, thanks, mate.
Obviously, I saw you just very shortly after you had the birth of your fourth child. Joked then if there was any more on the way, any more plans. Obviously, you've just put an end to that one, then, Darren.
Yeah, I'll have to come out of retirement if I have any more. Um, yeah, they cost a few quid, but nah, that is my lot without a doubt.
How are you finding, obviously, having to juggle four children now, and obviously with it being a newborn, I'm sure you've adapted to the late nights or the early nights now.
To be honest, I don't do a great deal. My wife does everything. And I've got to admit, these little trips away help. I'm like, darling, I've got to go. It's work, innit? I've got to go. They've got blackout blinds and everything. It's brilliant.
Darren, I hope that your wife doesn't see this video.
No, I
Um,
hope not.
well, obviously, let's move forwards. Let's talk about the boxing. We know that you're in the bubble once again. It seems to be that, as we just mentioned off camera, this is kind of the best bubble you've been in with regards to the activities on offer. What have you been able to do this time round to kind of take your mind off or keep your mind occupied, rather?
You know what? I think first of all, when you first get into somewhere new, it's a change of scenery. It's somewhere a bit different. Don't get me wrong. I really enjoyed the holiday in Brentwood. It was summer. We had a lot. You know, everyone see the cricket. It was brilliant. It was a good crack. We did the karaoke. I enjoyed Brentwood. Um, but then I've got to be honest, Milton Keynes and Peterborough weren't too clever. And then to get in here, they've got a games room. They've got a cinema room. There's a bar, which is Andy. The food ain't bad. So yeah, good. And it's so surreal when you're in these bubbles and you're just walking past all these great fighters and people who are involved in boxing. Like, I'm a big boxing fan. So literally just when I come up to the room there, like I'm in the lift with just me and Usyk. You know, it's mental. I'm just stood next to Usyk. Like, how you doing, mate? You're right. So, yes, I feel. Um, you know what I mean? It's just mental. And like, I'm so thankful. I'm going off topic a little bit here, but I'm so thankful to be doing what I do. I love it. You know, I'm just a big nutty boxing fan, and to be involved in the sport in this capacity is brilliant. You know, like I say, I'm just rubbing shoulders with all these people. You know, David Hayes in it, Jezora's in it. It's incredible. And other people, you know, like growing up, Gary Jacobs, what a fighter he is. You know, I was lucky to be in Peterborough with him when the Rankin Savannah Marshall fight got got called off because of Pete Fury obviously getting COVID. And, you know, to be knocking about these people, being a boxing fan that I am, brilliant.
When you actually see these guys or these girls knocking about, as you say, and just walking around the hotel, what kind of goes through your mind? Are you kind of looking at them, picking up on little things that they do, little kind of maybe funny, trying to think of a right word, like little funny quirks that they might have?
Nah, not really. Don't get me wrong. It's very strange for this to be going on. Usually boxers keep well away from each other. You know, you'd be in your own houses, you'd be, you know, locked away, and you wouldn't see each other until the press conference and the weigh-in. But here, you know, you're constantly having to walk past. You know, I've seen Usyk and Bell walk past each other numerous times. You know, I've seen all the fighters walking past each other, and this is sort of they'll nod at each other. Obviously, we've heard the disappointment with Dave Allen and Christopher Lovejoy. But they've non-stop been walking past each other, which you wouldn't usually see. But no, everyone seems really relaxed and raring to go, if I'm honest.
Let's obviously get into kind of a fight week then, and you just mentioned Dave Allen. We'll start off with him as somebody you're very close to, obviously somebody you used to train. You mentioned the disappointment there, just from kind of going off that. Does that mean the fight is no longer going
To
to
be
take?
honest, Andy, I don't know, but from what I'm hearing, I'm not sure if the fight's going to happen. I know they're trying. I don't know if they're still trying, and that's not me being coy or trying to hide anything from you. I genuinely don't know. Um, I would love that fight to happen. I'm sure David would have won the fight. But yeah, I think he's still in limbo, sure. But Dave's disappointed anyway because he doesn't like the fact that there are question marks looming over this fight, and I want to know something. It's the weigh-in today. So look, I don't think it's looking good. If I'm honest, I don't think it. I think it's very doubtful, but it's a funny old game. This, you never know.
What do you make of kind of that entire situation, Darren, with regards to obviously finding out as soon as we came into the bubble that Don King was involved with Christopher Lovejoy and everything that's kind of unfolded since? What do you make of it all? Have you ever experienced anything like it previously?
No, not really. If I'm honest, but I don't know. You know, is Lovejoy telling the truth? Did he come over here just to get a bit of PR, a bit of publicity? Did he ever think he was going to fight? Did he know that Don was going to pull the plug? Did Don know? Did Don King know that? Christopher Lovejoy was coming. It might have been a big plan to boost his profile. They might have not had any interest in fighting him. Who knows? Who knows? It's, you know, it's a funny old game. This, like I say. But I'm disappointed. Dave's disappointed. It will be disappointed if the fight don't happen. It's a strange one, isn't it? You know, and what a waste of energy if the fight don't happen just because he didn't make his manager promoter aware that he'd been offered a fight. Crazy.
What's kind of the work in the background looking like, Darren? Are things being put in place and for Dave to fight somebody, even if Christopher Lovejoy can't?
I know they was trying. But it's finding the right opponent, you know, I think, and finding someone that's ready. I know it's heavyweight boxing; they've not got to make weight, but it's calling someone in at the last minute. So I've no idea what's going on, if I'm honest. Obviously, I don't work with Dave anymore. He's my mate, and I've been knocking about with him for the last couple of days. But I'm not too sure what's happening. Sort of when I speak to Dave, he's shrugging his shoulders as well. But yeah, it'd be a shame, mate. But let's see what happens.
What is it like?
What time we got? We ain't got long till the weigh-in, so.
You just told me you had plenty of time, Darren.
Well, unless you want to talk for 2 hours.
I won't talk for 2 hours, Darren. Just a final thing with Dave. Obviously, you mentioned you're no longer working with him, as everybody knows. What is it like when you're walking around, you're talking to him, knowing that it's not kind of in that capacity anymore?
Nah, it's not. Do you know what? Dave asked me once upon a time, come on, be my trainer, be my trainer. It started off, he wanted me to be his advisor, manager, blah, 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 because we were mates. And he asked me if I'll train him. And, you know, I agreed. I thought, you know what, let me use this as an experiment to see if I want to do it. And I don't. I don't. You know, I'm busy, I've got family. But I think when you box as long as I have, to be a boxing trainer, you've got to be disciplined in a different way to when you're fighting, and I'm just not ready to have that discipline, if I'm honest. I kind of like being able to do what I want to do, and yeah, it's not for me. So me and Dave go back to our friends, you know, relationship as just being friends. That's brilliant.
Moving forwards, Darren, just move on to the rest of the card. Obviously, Alexander Usyk versus Jezora headlining that bill on Saturday night. We saw Alexander with kind of a piece of paper yesterday. I don't know whether it's mind games or something more to it. What did you
spoke to Eddie about it. I spoke to Eddie. I said, Ed, what was that? Because initially I thought if that was me with a bit of pen and paper, it'd be me drawing loads of willies on it. I went, Ed, what's he doing? He goes, he does it at every presser. He just does he writes down a sequence of numbers. And I went, do you know what it means? And he went, no, I've not got a clue. But that's all he's doing. He's writing numbers down. It might obviously means something to him, but apparently he does it all the time.
What do you make of their bout on Saturday, Darren? A lot of people kind of still questioning whether Alexander can, you know, compete at the elite level of heavyweight simply because he's come up from cruiserweight and he's got to adjust to the weight against a fully fledged person in Derek Jezora at heavyweight. How do you think Alexander will adjust to it?
Well, if I'm honest, I think he will. Don't get me wrong. There's not Derek Jezora. I won't say one of a kind, but he's he's so ferocious, and he really gives it everything. So as far as sort of, I mean, dealing with that may be a little bit alien to Usyk, but he competed in the world boxing, no, what was it, the WSB, whatever, you know, when he was an amateur, and he fought Joe Joyce. He was an actual heavyweight in that, so he's used to it. The only thing he's going to have to deal with, like I say, which is going to be a bit different, is that real force and the pace of what Dell tries to fight at. I don't really mean with punch output, but I mean with, you know, closing that gap and really putting his presence into the fight. So Usyk's going to have to deal with that, but he's a tremendous fighter. You know, his footwork is impeccable. It really is. You know, he takes the space away from his opponents, makes them fall short, counters with a 1-2. He does the fundamentals so well, and he's got a bit of flair and a little bit of something else, that magic, that elite level special ingredient that not a lot of fighters have. And he implements that into a fight. He creates angles, and he's quick. He's always thinking. I think a danger for Dell on the flip side is, I remember when he fought, I was in Monte Carlo when he fought Caballero for the European title. And don't get me wrong, Del Boy has improved a lot since then. He's taken the sport a lot more serious. I think he was a bit flat, not just with the sport at that time, but just in his own personal life. And he's rejuvenated, he's come back. But still, that atmosphere in Monte Carlo is almost like being in a behind closed doors fight. It's very quiet. There's about 200 people in there. So you can fight flat. And Del did that night. And also, he fought someone like Caballero who moved an awful lot, and Del got frustrated. We know Usyk's going to do exactly that. He's going to move, though I don't think he'll be on the ropes. I think he will try and box from the centre of the ring, but always allow space behind him, Usyk. I worry that Del could get frustrated and lose his way a little bit. But I just think with his mindset now, I'm hoping that he just gets right stuck in. But then again, when you do that with someone like Usyk who takes the space away, you can end up walking onto one. But I've also seen a clip of Usyk sparring, and trust me, he looks like he's punching hard. He really looks like he's punching hard.
Is this from his sparring with Dave, I take it?
No.
Obviously, just move forwards onto another fight on the card: Albee versus George Cambosos Jr. Obviously, we saw George yesterday, certainly kind of, I wouldn't necessarily say roiled up, but it seemed to be a little heated, certainly showing his emotions. What do you make of him and kind of the character that he's shown throughout the week so far?
Cambosos? Yeah, just a very flash, I wouldn't say arrogance, probably a little bit harsh, but just someone who's really full of himself and believes in himself. I think he really thinks he's changing the guard. I think it's a crossroads fight. Does Selby have anything left? And Cambosos, how good is he? We know how good Selby is. Obviously moved up, looks better at the weight. But yeah, I'm kind of impressed with Cambosos. I don't know, look, talking only doesn't get you anywhere, actually, as far as the fight's concerned. It may get you into fights, but it can't win you fights. But he believes in himself, like I say, and talking to him yesterday at the presser, he truly believes he will beat Selby. He used quite a funny quote, actually, sell by date, Selby date, but with his accent, it sounded quite good. He's past his sell by date. And what he was saying is this fight makes him mandatory for Lopez. And when I asked him, do you think that fight will happen? Not looking past Saturday, he said 100%. And if it does happen, it will be in front of 15,000 people in an outdoor arena, a stadium in Sydney or Melbourne. So the pot of gold, for just not talking about Selby at the minute, just for Cambosos, the pot of gold is huge. To fight one of the best fighters in the world in your home country in an outdoor stadium, it's no bigger than that.
Do you believe that one of Selby or Cambosos could beat Teofimo Lopez? We obviously saw
No,
Teofimo produce a stunning performance against Vasyl Lomachenko a matter of, what, a week and a half, 2 weeks ago?
no, I don't. No, Lopez is ridiculous, so good, and boxed to a plan against Lomachenko. I thought it was brilliant. You know, kept Lomachenko thinking all the time. He kept pouring that jab out, and Lomachenko, where he hadn't fought for 14 months or whatever it was a little bit concerned. I know he had the shoulder injury or whatever, but he was a little bit concerned about throwing his shots just because he knew Lopez was trying to set him up for that counter right hand. So he was a little bit tentative. And as the rounds went on, he was nicking him, Lopez. And I thought he boxed really, really well, to a game plan, to a T. And yeah, to be honest, neither Selby, though I really like, I think the top lad, or Cambosis can live with Lopez. He's on another planet.
Just a couple of quick things I want to touch on, Darren, before I do leave you to get ready for the weigh-in. Davey Santa Cruz is also on Saturday night during the night. What do you make of that?
Firstly, very happy that Channel 5 have taken it. It's fantastic. So I'll definitely be tuning in for that one. But for me, as great as Santa Cruz has been and is, Davis for me will win that fight. He's again one of them elite level fighters. Though Santa Cruz has been, but I think, you know, again, similar to the Selby Cambosis, is the new with it, in with the new, out with the old sort of. And I just think Davis is unbelievable, isn't he? He's so ferocious. He's so action packed. He can punch. He can fight. He's quick. There's a bit of everything, and I just I think he wins that fight.
I mean, another fight which was recently announced is Billy Joe Saunders versus Martin Murray. Just Darren, again, what are your thoughts on that one? Martin obviously previously twice had agreed to face Billy Joe, but different circumstances, meaning the fight could never go ahead back when it had previously been agreed.
Yeah, look, for me, straight away I go with who I think will win. I think Billy Joe wins on points. I think Martin is a good style for Billy, in the sense that, you know, Martin can be guilty of being one paced at times, and Billy Joe likes to be in control of the tempo and be busy. So I think he wins on points. But Martin Murray is a very, very tough man. We've seen that in the past. And look, at this stage in his career, you could arguably say this would be his last shot at a world title. So he's going to leave everything in the ring. He's going to give it absolutely everything. So that's what makes this fight intriguing, is because he's, like I say, he's just going to throw everything. He's got to throw everything at Billy. You know, he's got a kind of box out character. He's got to be busy. He's got to let his hands go. Though Martin fights at a good pace, I don't want to sound like I'm knocking him. It is a constant, continuous, one pace sort of style. And I think he's just got to throw everything at Billy. Work. But Billy's one of the best I've been in the ring with. I sparred with him when I was British champion. So he was a novice pro, and he was flipping. He's very good. He's so sharp with his hands, with his feet, and his thinking, his reactions. They, for me, haven't slowed up as time's passed, and he'll have to box. It'll have to be a case of him boxing really badly and Martin boxing really well for Martin to win that. But I'm looking forward to it.
And the final thing, Darren, which I want to touch on, we haven't had the chance to actually speak since, but the Deontay Wilder Tyson Fury trilogy bout, it doesn't seem to be going ahead. Obviously, still hearing different things, but certainly seems to be moving away from that, looking at other fights now. Tyson saying he's coming back to the UK on December 5th. Just kind of your thoughts on that entire situation, and the fact we won't see the trilogy bout.
I don't know. It's a weird one, isn't it? Like, what's happened to Wilder? Didn't he post something recently, a video which I haven't listened to or haven't watched, so I don't really know what he said. But yes, I don't know. I think Tyson's just completely broken his heart. He's, you know, he just got bashed up, didn't he, last time? So I think he's doing a bit of soul searching. But glad Tyson's going to keep busy. Obviously, we want both AJ and Tyson to get through unscathed, and hopefully a fight where those can be made ASAP. I mean, what will we look, sort of late spring could be realistic, or early summer for those two. And I mean, it gets me excited thinking about it. Flipping heck, you know, it's been a fantasy fight for so long, hasn't it? And when those fights actually come together, and that excitement before the first bell, that's what we're all going to feel. And you know, I just want them both to get through unscathed, and I will keep my fingers crossed like everyone else that fight happens. And I'm sure it will. There's so much money involved in that fight for everyone involved, that it just makes sense. And it just makes sense because it's for all the marbles.
Other than Dave Allen, Darren, who would you like to see Tyson Fury step in with on December 5th?
Good question. I mean, Michael Hunter's a name that's been floating around, but I don't think that makes for a good fight, if I'm honest, as far as the spectacle is concerned. But having said that, I think Tyson wins that fight and probably gets through it unscathed. You know, I don't think he'll get cut, or he shouldn't get any injuries, but I don't think it's a brilliant fight. I don't know. Just sling him in there with something, I don't know, a Latvian milkman, and just let him win, and then he can fight AJ. You know, for AJ, you know, AJ's not a foregone conclusion. Pulev's no mug, and similar to Martin Murray. You know, this is his last crack, I'd say. He's gonna give it absolutely everything, and he'll be looking at the Ruiz fight and saying, look, if I can tag him, there's a good chance that he'll go. Or, you know, I could shake him, I could knock him out, I could stop him. So I don't expect Pulev to stand off of AJ, because one, that's suicide, stand at arm's length. AJ, I think he's got to be quick, try and get in close and try and rough up AJ. Getting into range is another question altogether. It becomes very difficult and it's very dangerous. But like I say, it's the last roll of the dice for Pulev, so he's got to give it everything. So we don't know who Fury's going to fight, but I know for sure his opponent won't be as dangerous as Pulev is for AJ.
Right, Darren, we'll leave that there now. I'll leave you to shoot off and get ready for the weigh-in.
Thanks. I quite like these rooms, if I'm honest. I was going to show you around my room. There's not much to look at, really.
Give us a guided tour, Darren. I'm sure everybody will appreciate it.
Right, let's see. Right, so currently, I've got to make sure that I've put all my pornos away. But there's my little coffee making kit. There's masks everywhere. Masks coming out of my ear holes, and I've got biscuits and croissants and that. Remember, I'm not making weight anymore, so it's all good. We have a TV with a remote that doesn't work, and I'm not being lazy, but it's frustrating. You know, you're laying down, you're in bed at night. If I'm not watching Netflix, I want to watch something else on the telly. You've got to keep getting up, changing the channel. It's annoying. And also another thing, you don't know what's on the channel, so you know, I can't press TV guide. It's aggro.
Ask for some new batteries.
Eh?
Have you not asked for a new remote or some new batteries?
Nah, because I'm embarrassed, if I'm honest. What else I got here? More biscuits. A book that I've read numerous times, but I go over it quite often when I've got time on my hands, and it's called The Power of Now. And I don't know if those listening to this or watching this read, but it's a very good book on sort of explaining about staying present. You can be depressed if you look back in the past, and you can be anxious when you look forward into the future. And this is really about staying present and enjoying the now, because every second that passes is a memory, so make them good memories. And I've sort of highlighted a lot of passages in that book, and I go over them now and again just to remind myself, you know, one, how good life is, and how good you can make it. And it's about being here, being now. Don't worry about what's going on tomorrow. Or, you know, look, another good passage in that book I'll quickly bore you with is, you are not your mind. You're not your mind. You know, you are you're your being. Your mind is a tool, and it's like a, you know, you have to use your mind to complete day-to-day tasks. But like a builder, they pick up a tool, they use it when they need it, and then they put it down. Don't use your mind. Don't let it drive you mad, you know. And I think a lot of people, I'm lucky. I don't struggle with mental health or anything like that. I have in the past, but I'm fine now. But I think with people that may struggle with mental health, I think that book, one, it can really help. And I think understanding to put this down, you don't need it all the time. Just enjoy everything. Enjoy the dulcet tones of your voice when you're talking. It will help you stay present. When you're running the tap, listen to the water, you know, listen to it going down the drain. When you flush the toilet, when you're listening to the wind, all of these things help you stay present. But anyway, I've gone off on one there. Have a look here. There's my wardrobe. Yeah, my clobber. I'll be wearing over the next couple of days. It's a nice little double-breasted waistcoat from Reese.
Are you somebody who overpacks or underpacks, Darren?
Oh, I'm going to say I'm an overpacker. I probably won't use everything. I've got enough to wear, but there'll be a couple of things that I don't use. Right. You're going to hear a lot. Well, we've all been hearing a lot about this recently. Boxers don't shut up about it. CBD oil. Right. I went on Anthony Fowler's website and I didn't tell him I was going on there because I didn't want any freebies. So I brought the most expensive CBD oil there was because I thought I've been struggling with a bad back for a long time. And I thought, do you know what I'm going to do? I'm not going to tell Anthony or anyone who works on that website that I want some oil. I'm just going to buy it and I'm going to see how I get on. And if I feel any differences, and the only differences that I'm expecting to feel or I have felt are injuries I've got. You know, I'm not looking, and I don't struggle with anxiety or anything like that really. And I thought if I do feel any differences or improvements, I will go on Twitter and I'll say, do you know what, fair play. And let me tell you now, I've been struggling with a bad back for ages. I would say it's 80% cleared up. I've seen chiropractors, you know, physios, doctors, everything. And, you know, I've spent, I wouldn't say loads of money, but I've spent money on these different procedures and nothing's really helped. 80%, I'm 80% better, and it has to be because of that oil. It's incredible. It really is. I was talking to Dave Caldwell yesterday down in the bubble. I was saying, Dave, that oil is unreal. So anyone with injuries or whatever, and I'm not trying to plug it, I'm just kind of, I'm amazed by it. I did not think it would help how it's helped. I'm not going to say it's going to be the same for everyone, but flipping heck. So yeah, that is my room.
Darren, appreciate your...
I don't know if you're going to cut the last 15 minutes out of this interview, but
I don't think we will do, Darren. You'll either go as a separate kind of feature, or we'll probably just keep it with a video. We'll soon see. But as I say, I'm sure you've just probably wasted 15 minutes of your own time because you have to get ready.
Well, I can't do nothing anyway. I mean, I'll slowly start getting ready. Yeah, I don't know. I've got time.
You was trying to rush me at the beginning of this interview. I
just thought, let's do it now. I'm sat in the room before I get ready. I ain't had my morning poo yet, so I'll sit on the toilet for about 20 minutes, and you know that's priority over this interview. I'm sorry. It's one of the highlights of my day. Be honest. There ain't many better feelings. You know, when you need to go to the toilet and you go, it's a good feeling, isn't it? It's not one that we speak about often, but having a good pony's a good feeling.
Darren, I can back that up and I can leave it there. It's certainly not a conversation I thought that we'd be having when we started this interview.
It's a shit conversation.
I'll leave the jokes with you, Darren. It's been a pleasure to catch up with you, mate. Obviously, I appreciate you giving up some time. Enjoy the rest of the week, obviously, fight night as well. And I'm sure I will see you soon. Thank you for your time as always. And thank you for speaking to Boxing Social.
Cheers, mate. Take care, mate.